Texas star quarterback Arch Manning, worth the hype or overhyped? We'll find out this weekend. He's our make-a-statement player when he faces Ohio State.
You are Locked On NFL Draft, your daily podcast covering the NFL Draft. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to the Locked On NFL Draft Podcast, your daily podcast covering your favorite draft prospects, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm your boy, Damian Parson. I'm an NFL draft analyst with Bleach Report. That's my guy, Keith Sanchez. He is the director of scouting with the Draft Network and 2019 national champion with those LSU Tigers. And as always, thank you for making Locked On NFL Draft your first listen today and every day. Shout out for being our every Dayers. Week 1 preview, guys. We're talking make a statement on the offensive side of the ball, make a statement for the defensive side of the ball, and those prospects that need to make statements in week 1, and then the sleeper prospects that you need to watch. But before that, today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Make a statement, Keith. When you look at week 1, we get a full slate of games now. Who is your make-a-statement player on the offensive side of the ball for week 1?
DP, I'm not running from this. We're going straight to the guy. We're going straight to Arch Manning, right? And I watched the Dallas Cowboys documentary, right? What is like 8 parts, and in one part they was talking to Deion Sanders, right? And of course Deion Sanders has a classic quote about Deion Sanders, right? And they asked him, if he was going to be the reason for the success. He said, I'm going to be the reason, the season, the treason, whatever rhymes with it, I'll be the seasoning, right? That's what Arch Manning needs to do. Walk out college football week 1, you have Ohio State, go drop 35 on them, right? Let them know, listen, y'all are not going to be the champs this year. And what's the name on the back of my jersey? Arch Manning. Yes, I was built to do this, and let them know it's simply DNA, right? It has nothing, it's DNA. This was God-given right here. So I'm going with Arch Manning. Make a statement. I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to see what happens. College football is here. This is what it's about, right? The storylines, setting the bar, going to the bar. He had his quote, right? I think the quote was having a target on his back. And I think his quote was, no, we have a red dot on everybody else. We're going to get everybody else. We can't be the targets, right? We're going to be the hammer and not the nail. I'm excited for it, DP.
That's a bar. I can't even lie to you. That's a bar. Like, you know what I mean? You like, oh, you got a target on the back. Nah, I got the red beam on you. Like, that's just what it is. I like that. Shout out to Arch. That is a bar. But no, he's definitely a make a statement player. And it's not even like if this was a cupcake game, we would not even
I probably wouldn't pick. No, Ohio State.
What do you think? You got Ohio State out there. We talked about it on yesterday's pod with Clemson versus LSU. It's like, man, like we get this schedule week 1, and then Ohio State and Texas are on the schedule and everything. And he's going up against another 5-star recruit at quarterback, Julian Sayin, who, for those who don't know, is supposed to be the future for Alabama and Nick Saban. Nick Saban recruited the kid, brought him in. He was there. But when Nick Saban retired, he said, oh, no, I only came here for Saban. I'm out. And he went to Ohio State. So, yeah, with Arch, like with the weapons that they have, we talked about DeAndre Moore earlier this week. You got Ryan Wingo, CJ Baxter's back, Quintravion Wisner's there. Jack Indries. Guys, I'm telling you right now, watch out for that guy, that tight end that they have. I think Arch will more than likely like to get the ball to him because he's athletic, guy that can stretch the seam, run after catch, all of that. Keith, I'm going with another quarterback. And I'm going right here in my neck of the woods. I'm going LaNorris Sellers, and for me, they play, I believe it is Sunday night against
Virginia Tech, right?
Yeah, Kyron Drones, Virginia Tech, and Virginia Tech has always been a well-coached defense. So the afternoon, they have the first game on Sunday. We get Notre Dame, Miami that night. But yeah, that game, it's in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, 3:00 kickoff on ESPN. You are on national television to start the season. There's no sneaking up on anybody. There's no Old Dominion. Like this is VodTech. And like, again, they typically always have defensive prospects and they're going to play physical. They can play a great defense and they're very sound and disciplined. You got to go out here and make the throws that you have to make that scouts want to see from you. The accuracy, the ball placement, but also when we talked about him this summer, protecting the football,
You
not
said
just
that.
interceptions,
Yep.
the fumbles. Like, protect the ball in the pocket, hold it with two hands, grip the ball so it's not, even if you get sacked, you just get sacked. Don't get sacked and let the defensive end or defensive player rake the ball out of your hands, and now it's compounded and it's a turnover. Like, you don't want those type of things. So for me, he's got to go out here and make a statement. They're ranked 13th in the country right now at South Carolina, right out the gate. Like, that's probably one of the highest rankings we've seen from them in years. So, like, Shane Beamer's done a great job building that program and building that roster. He's got weapons. So I think their running back was just cleared by the NCAA to be able to play and everything. We thought we was gonna have another Ja'Cory Krosky merit situation, but they nope. He's like, all right, we're good. We're good. All right, cool. Getting the ball to these weapons, especially him and Nick Harbor. Like, I could have probably compared them two together. Like, I need to see you two take a massive step together. Nick Harbor is too much of an athlete, size, height, weight, speed type of guy. Can we get some of that deep ball going between him and LaNorris Sellers? Can LaNorris Sellers put together a strong 4 quarters of consistency? That's going to be a big thing for me. He's got to make a statement, out the gate, week 1.
Yeah, and this should be fun because there's a little underlying storyline there. Obviously, Shane Beamer, right? Playing Virginia Tech, his father's old school, right? Beamer football.
Beamer football,
what team
baby.
is Beamer football the best, right? And you hinted on it because you talked about turnovers. It's about forcing turnovers and not turning the football over.
Yeah.
And we'll see. And that's a good call out with LaNorris Sellers. DP, I'm gonna do a little with this. Not even Pac-10. I was about to say Pac-10 at night. This is a Big Ten situation. I'm gonna go with a decent matchup in UCLA versus Utah, and I'm gonna go with Nico Iamaleava. Has a lot to prove. The whole situation and conversation about the transfer portal, NIL, but then also he's talented, right? But then obviously we talked about seeing him outside of the Tennessee offense, right? And want to see him really develop and see him make certain throws on the field. DP, he has the arm talent to place himself at QB2, QB3, right? And he's kind of just been a forgotten name because of the kind of narrative storyline. Go ahead and bust that storyline, bust those narratives up, and go ahead and drop 30, 40 points on Utah, and then say, you know what, I'm one of the most talented quarterbacks in the nation. And then you have the rest of your Big Ten schedule to get after it too. So I'm going to look at Nico and see how he does just in a new situation, because this couldn't be a very explosive situation in a good way.
Yeah, I'm gonna be up because I'm be coming back from the Clemson game that night and everything. So I'm definitely going to tune into this game as much as I can once I get home. But not only that, Keith, because he's going up against Utah, similar to Tech, well coached, tough, physical team that always plays really good defense. But now they have a quarterback, Devin Dampier, who transferred, I believe, from New Mexico State, 5'11", 204. Yeah, for Nico, it's like not only are you having to shake some of that, I guess, Tennessee, because right now, I mean, we just watched Hendon Hooker be released from the Detroit Lions and everything. Hope the best for him. But that offense does not set anybody up from a quarterback standpoint to be ready for the NFL, man. No matter how smart you are, like just book smart and intellectually, it doesn't give you the looks and the reads and the defensive coverages that you're going to see, the spacing that you're going to see in the NFL. So it's like, going to UCLA is going to be big for Nico because now you get to actually play in a structured offense that it has more pro style too. I expect him to still run the ball, get RPO game, read option stuff, things like that. But you're going to see more traditional looks from a defense. And that's going to be especially out the gate with Utah. Yeah, expect Utah to come out and try to be as physical as possible with you. Shout out to Nico. That's a really good call out, Keith, because there's a lot to gain for him this season because he could leave college football and go to the NFL. If Arch goes back and things like that. Like, why would if Arch and LaNorris go back and you're like, man, I just had the best season of my life. Why do I go back to school and have to battle with those guys for the QB1 role? I could just come out now and still be a first-round pick.
Yep, 100% with DP, man. Let's switch sides of the football. We talked offensive playmakers. We're going to talk about the defensive guys that need to make a statement for this upcoming slate of college football games. Let's talk about those guys coming up next.
Hey, Locked On NFL Draft fans, are you still paying full price for gas? Stop leaving money behind. Get real cash back every time you fill up with the free Upside app. Simply download the free Upside app in the App Store or Google Play right now and start earning cash at the pump today. Use my limited time promo code touchdown and get an extra 25 cents back per gallon on your first fill up. You could make up to $300 a year just from buying the gas you already needed. At first, I thought it was too good to be true, but it's totally legit. Real people are getting paid just to make their daily commute, and you can too. Plus, you can cash out anytime to your bank account, PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Don't let this offer drive on by. Download the free Upside app now using my limited time promo code touchdown for a limited time 25-cent per gallon bonus. That's promo code touchdown. Offers vary by user and location. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions. The NFL season is back. And honestly, there's nothing better than being in a stadium surrounded by fans cheering on your team. But let's be honest, getting tickets can be a hassle. Between queues, login screens, and prices jumping at checkout, it's frustrating. But that's why I use Game Time, the app that gives the advantage back to the fans. Game Time is fast, easy, and backed by the Game Time guarantee. You'll always get 100% tickets, authentic tickets, delivered on time, and the best price. Plus, all fees are included. So the price you see is the price you pay. The app is super simple. I can even see the exact view from my seat before buying. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, use the code LOCKEDONNFL. That's LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket. Go. Download Game Time today. Defensive prospects to watch that need to make a statement, Keith. I go right to a cornerback that we talked about recently, and that's Damani Jackson for Alabama. Alabama has a big game up against Florida State. Both teams looking to kind of turn the corner, right? Kalen DeBoer trying to turn the corner, his second year at the helm as a head coach. And we know that Florida State, like their quarterback, Thomas Castellanos, has been doing a lot of talking this offseason about this game. Any chance he gets in front of the camera, he's been talking his trash and talking his talk, right? About how they're going to upset Bama. They're going to beat Bama. Like, they're not afraid of Bama. Hey, listen, all that sounds good until the ball is kicked off and you're actually between the lines with these beasts. And now we see what it looks like. And for me with Damani, it's going to be the how do you play going up against, I believe he's 6'6", Deuce Robinson.
Deuce, he is 6'6", listed as 6'6". Yep.
Athletic wide receiver that transferred from USC. This is going to be his coming out party for Florida State and everything and whatnot. Can you lock him down or limit him and that passing offense? This is a guy that has track speed. He has a long speed, things like that. You want to just see him be consistent technically. So when I look at Damani Jackson, like, this is a make a statement week for you, especially. I think we talked about it on yesterday's show. You used the phrase, the cornerback situation is kind of opened up right now for the NFL draft, right? Jamont McCoy is most scouts CB1, but he's coming off a torn ACL that he tore in January, right? They're expecting them back weeks 3, 4, or 5, somewhere in there, but we don't know how he'll look when he returns. So the CB1 is literally up for grabs, and it's who's going to climb the ladder and just grab the title? Who's going to grab it and say, I'm the top CB in the country? Is it going to be Avion Terrell? Damani Jackson has the height, weight, and speed, those physical boxes he already checks.
Yeah. What I'll do is I'll double down on the cornerback position, DP. I'm going to Ohio State. Matter of fact, I'm going to list 2 defensive prospects. I'm going to Ohio State, Caleb Downs, and I'm going with Davison Igbinosun, right? Igbinosun. Okay, got it right. I'm getting there. I'm going with those 2 guys, DP. And listen, the first segment we talked about Arch Manning. When it was yesterday, day before yesterday, we talked about the wide receiver more, right? And plus all of the other weapons that they have at Texas. This is y'all's show. And last year we seen Ohio State win a national championship because the players stepped up. The Jack Sawyers, the JT Tuimamalus, a couple of interior defensive linemen, Cody Simon, right? The prospects on the offensive side of football. But as far as this team, y'all are leaders now. It's Caleb Downs, it's Davison. Everybody talked about how you had you have the potential, right, and a really high ceiling. Go put it all together, and you're hitting the ground running, right? Like there's no warm up. You don't have stretch. You have Texas. You have Texas speed coming to your house, right? And you have to play football. So I'm looking at those two guys to go ahead and make a statement, because if y'all have any opportunity at winning this game, in my opinion, I think it's because those two prospects are going to have to play well.
100%. I think in for Davison, it's the grabbiness, the handsiness, like, and going up against the speed as you talked about from Texas, whether it's DeAndre Moore, Ryan Wingo, like they have legit guys that can fly. And if you don't get hands on correctly, this could go south very fast for you. You know what I mean? These guys get you stacked, and it's a house call. It's a big play, it's an explosive play.
I was gonna say they motivated DP because Ohio State bounced Texas out of the playoffs last year. And Texas, Texas might have felt like they had a national championship team last year.
No, I forgot that that ended up being the case, that Ohio State on their way to a national championship game beat Texas. So these guys they want to get their lick back, as the young kids say nowadays. They want to get their lick back, and I think for Davison Igbinosun, like, show us that you can clean up these technical flaws, like. Show that you could play coverage without grabbing and wrapping up a receiver and having the ref throw a flag, and that's 15 yards. Don't, especially an offense like this, don't give them empty free yards. On 3rd and 10, when you're going up against Ryan Wingo, just play good coverage. If he makes a catch, cool, it's whatever. But don't go grabbing and panicking, because he's a guy that face guards a lot. And it's like when you're not turning around looking for the ball consistently, then you start trying to play the receiver too early and you panic because you see the receiver looking for the ball. Like, just play sound football. And I think Caleb Downs just show why versatility is king for you. Like, play the safety spot, walk down into the box, play some nickel, like do the things that makes scouts really love your game. Showcase that, how you can wear the different hats and be that Buda Baker for the Ohio State defense. Wear all those hats, make the plays, but then also punt return. they punt the ball to you, make them pay for it. It's like, you know what? Not only did I just make a 3rd down tackle, but now you punt the ball to me. I just got 40 yards in the return, and my offense is in your territory to start the drive. That's going to be a big thing for them, Keith. I'm going to go back to that Bama FSU game.
I was going there too. Yep. Let's see.
And I'm going to the defense, and I'm going to defensive line.
You about to
FSU?
FSU? I was going Alabama defensive line.
Okay. No.
All right, we safe.
We safe. I'm going to defensive tackle Darrell Jackson, junior, 6'5", 300, almost 40 pounds, and going up against an interior offensive line for Bama that, like, an offensive line that wants to be physical. You got, I think it's Brailsford at the center position.
Brailsford. Yep.
A lot of people like him, but he's 6'2", 290. Right, so you got the side, the height, the weight, the height, and the weight on them, and the strength on them, in your favor. For me with Darrell Jackson, I need to see you come out here and play and be dominant. Like, it was a lot of kids. You remember last year, it was a lot of hype for Darrell Jackson coming over, because remember, Florida State has done such a great job being able to hit the transfer portal, bring in guys. Whether it was Jermaine Johnson, Jared Verse, like, they've done a great job of that with their defensive front. And Darrell Jackson was supposed to be that next guy. Now, it didn't go as well last year. Right that wrong and come out here and dominate the trenches, because they have a new quarterback in Ty Simpson who's starting and everything. And they have the receivers. They have 3 receivers this year from Jeremy Bernard. You got Ryan Williams, who is 18 years old, will be 18 years old, the true sophomore. And then they got Isaiah Horton, who came over from Miami. So they have speed, they have size, they have route running. They have enough guys. They're going to be able to run the ball because they always have talented running backs. Dominate this line of scrimmage and make Ty Simpson uncomfortable. Handicap them. Make them play with one hand tied behind their back and have to throw the football. And if so, then you allow your edge rushers to get after them.
Yep. I like that call out, DP, and I'm gonna name my 2 guys real quick before we have to transition. I'm going with LT Overton and Tim Keenan. Listen, It was probably 10 years ago to the season. I don't know if you remember when Bama played Florida State opening week. And I think this was when DeAndre Francois was the quarterback for Florida State. And it was like a top matchup. And I want to say Bama blew them out, right? Bama fans remember that. And then also what they're going to remember is the other side of this is that Florida State is the program that's not looked to be that good, right? So Bama fans, in my opinion, they're not going to only want you to win, they're going to want you to win in blowout fashion. And and you just mentioned it, right? You have a new quarterback, so you don't have Jalen Milroe as a deemed team leader. You have you guys, right? You have LT Overton and you have Tim Keenan. That y'all the top graded prospects out of Alabama, outside of the offensive lineman Caden Proctor. So you have to look at it from that perspective that you guys got to step up, right? You guys have to step up at the end of the day and be dominant. I think Bama fans are going to want to watch this game and say, you know what? We're back. If you squeak this game out against Florida State and it's a 29-28 win, I think Tuscaloosa is still kind of going to be kind of angry, right? So I'm looking at those two prospects, LT Overton, Tim Keenan, show up and show out.
Yeah, no, if you squeak out a win against Florida State at the state of the where the state of the program is right now,
Florida State might be a good team, but
it could be.
Yeah, it could be, but we just kind of only have last year to go.
Week one, you need to go out here and win by 10, 14 points at the minimum to really allow people to feel good about what you have and what you're going to be this season, Keith.
Yep, agree. Well, let's do this, man. Let's go ahead and transition, and we're going to talk about the sleepers to watch. What are those underrated guys to watch in these college football matchups from week one? We're going to talk about that coming up next.
This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks, the daily fantasy platform that lets you turn your football predictions into real rewards. Preseason football is over. The NFL season is getting ready to heat up, and college football ends here. Whether you've got your eye on big-name quarterbacks or a breakout running back, Prize Picks makes it easy to get in the game. The flex play option is a total game changer. Even when one of my picks misses, you still double your money. Prize Picks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. Download the Prize Picks app today and use the code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5. Prize Picks, run your game. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. The NFL season is almost here, and FanDuel is making sure you're ready for kickoff with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 back in bonus bets to use across the app. Let me repeat that. I don't think you heard me. Right now, new customers can bet just $5. And if your bet wins, you get $300 back in bonus bets to use freely across the app. So you think about $5 turning into $300. Who wouldn't want to turn around like that? That's what we talk about ROI, return on investment. So are you ready to play is my next question. If you are, download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. Again, are you ready to play? If so, download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet. Thank you for making Locked On NFL Draft your first listen today and everyday shot for being our everydayers. Keith, I feel like I've talked a lot defense, on this.
Listen, I could come off the top rope, DP. I'm locked and loaded. I'm ready to go.
I feel like we've talked a lot of defense, but I'm gonna go to a matchup that we have. I believe it's actually tonight, and that is Colorado. Colorado plays, and it's their corner, DJ McKinney.
Yeah.
And for me, Keith, I watched this tape this summer, and I was like, man, this young man has the size, the height, weight, speed. They play Georgia Tech 8 p.m. tonight, like prime time, right? Mm-hmm. And it's the changing of the guard. No Shedeur Sanders, no Travis Hunter. Like Jimmy Horn Jr. is gone. LaJohntay West is gone. They lost a lot to the NFL. And I think for them, they have Caden Salter. They just named him transfer quarterback from Liberty. He's their new starting quarterback. DJ McKinney in this defense, just buckle your chin strap, number one, because Georgia Tech is a physical team. This is a team that took Georgia to like triple, quadruple overtime at the end of the season. Like it was like I think it was 44-41 game or whatever, or 40, somewhere in there, 44-42 and whatnot. So you know that the quarterback's going to run the ball. They got Jamal Haynes in the backfield. But for me, it's more so when I look at the receivers that they have. I believe it's Eric Rivers, who transferred, I think, from FIU, who's replacing Eric Singleton. So they replaced one Eric with another Eric. You know what I mean? And this kid,
that was confusing because I was doing scouting reports and I'm like, wait, I thought this guy left, and then they're like similar sizes. They're both shifty wide receivers.
They have another receiver that because you know when you watch Georgia Tech, it kind of throws you off because you're like, hold on. Which one am I watching? Like, you know what I mean? You're like, hold on, because like I'm trying to remember his name, but like they have multiple guys, and you're like, all right, they got a type clearly on this team. But yeah, I think with DJ McKinney, he's going to face some guys that are essentially like he's going to be the taller, bigger player out of them, and it's all right, can you handle?
They're going to stress his quick twitch.
Yeah.
Because they're quick wide receivers, so him being a longer limbed corner, we're gonna be able to see what he can do as far as his foot quickness and fluid hips and just overall explosiveness.
It's Malik Rutherford. That's the other receiver. Malik Rutherford.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're 100% right. They're gonna stress that quick twitch. Can you move with these guys? Can you turn and flip your hips and run with them? Stop on the dime when they work that comeback route or try to cross face on a 10-yard dig route. Can you move with these young men? And if so, because we know you probably be able to deal with the bigger receivers. Can you do? Because that's what it makes you a special corner at your size. Can you cover any archetype? And if you can, that speaks well to your game.
Yep, with DP, the guy I'm going to go with, right? I know this is the sleeper section, right? But I can only imagine this guy sleeps good because he got quite a hefty NIL haul. I'm going to Miami, Carson Beck. I'm not letting him off the hook, DP. I told you I was coming off the top rope. Listen, you have a matchup with Notre Dame, I believe. I don't think it's that Saturday. I think the matchup is Sunday. Yes.
Sunday night.
Sunday night, you have Notre Dame. Listen, Cam Ward just left. Cam Ward, number 1 overall pick. Carson Beck, you were slated to be a first-round pick at some point. Left Georgia, went to Miami, right? Now it's time to show up and show out. You have a Notre Dame team who's historically, they're a physical football team, right? They're going to play tough defense on the head coach, Marcus Freeman, and come out of there with a win, right? Come out there, play well. And we talked about it I think we went through his, can't remember if it was QB rankings or scouting report, but we talked about his ability or inability to carry an entire offense. And I think we're going to see that, right? Like, is this going to be similar to what Cam Ward did, or is this going to be a totally different situation? So, and also, DP, we last year heading into the season collectively probably had a late first round grade on Carson Beck, somewhere around that late first to early second. Go put your name back in the hat, right? Go put your name back in. And we've seen even a Jackson Dart, right? And we've consistently said the same thing with Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart has played good football at moments in college. And then he's had situations where we're like head scratching, like, man, every time we really like you, something happens. But we've seen that prospect still get drafted in the first round. So can you put your name back in the first round hat? That's why I say Carson Beck as a sleeper to watch this weekend.
No, I'm with you on that. And I think and in a game where like prime time Sunday night, you had the historic rivalry with the Catholics convict situation. Yeah, there's a lot to talk about with there. There's no NFL game. You are the Sunday nights. This is Sunday night football. You're the one Sunday football.
College football. Yep.
100%. You Sunday night football is like you got to go out here, especially because I think they're the 10th ranked team.
Yeah,
in
I think
country.
It's 10 versus 6, I believe.
Somewhere in there. Because I've talked about it over at BR on just doing live stream. I'm like, I don't know if Miami deserves to be top 10. I was like, we'll see. That defense got to show me something before that secondary more so. That D line I think has players, but secondary got to grow up and play some good ball. But yeah, Carson Beck has to handle business. Keith, another guy for me, and this is a small school kid, but at UNLV, Jaden Bradley. I talked about him on the recap. He balled out for them last week in the game against Idaho State that, for whatever reason, was a very close game against Idaho State.
Yep.
Well, they got Sam Houston State this week, and Sam Houston just allowed my guy Matthew Henry to cook them for 7 for 148, and I think 1 or 2 touchdowns. For Jaden Bradley at 6'5", 195, 200 pounds, he showcased the ability to stretch the field, the ball skills, the leaping ability. I want to see you go out there and dominate this team, because at the end of the day, in this wide receiver class, when you do have a body type like his at 6'5", almost 200 pounds, and good athleticism, yeah, somebody's going to take notice of that. And I think for him, it's just more so stacking these days and having a good, strong senior season. So once we get to, once we get to draft season, it happens all the time. Like, you may not be popping during the college football season, but as a draft prospect where everybody's now is like, okay, it's draft mode. Let's scout. We're going to get through all the top names. Who's some diamonds in the roughs? Who's some gems? And it was like, well, this kid, Jaden Bradley, over at UNLV had an outstanding season, and he's got the height, weight, and speed. Let's check out his tape. And now you got everybody looking at your game. You might get an all-star invite, whether it's the Shrine Bowl, the Senior Bowl, you know what I mean? And be able to go out there and showcase yourself, interview with teams before the combine. Maybe you get a combine invite, but you got to keep it going. And I want to see him go out here and ball out. And then Luke Wysong is a New Mexico State transfer wide receiver. Tetero McMillan is gone from Arizona. So who's up next? And Luke is the guy I'm looking forward to, Keith. You know, you got Noah Fafita, their quarterback, you know, and everything. Luke is going to play that slot role, 5'10", 192. This young man can ball, route running. He gets open a lot, and he tracks the ball well. So I think this is going to be his coming out party. I don't think a lot of people know about Luke Wysong much at all. So check out Arizona. They play Hawaii, who we talked about, got the big knock, the big game. You know, they won against Stanford. Can they make it 2-0? And I think this is a 10:30 Eastern kickoff on TNT. So for those of you who stay up, watch them. It's not Pac-12. No, Arizona's. What conference is Arizona in? Are they in the Big 12?
They're in the Big 12.
Big 12. Big 12 versus the Mountain West.
Yep. With DP, that wraps up another episode, man, of the Locked On NFL Draft Podcast. I want to end this podcast off by saying shout out to our everydayers. Thank you for tapping in with us each and every single day. I am Keith Sanchez. You can find me on X at The Talent Code. That right there is my guy, my co-host, Mr. Damian Parson. You can find him on X at DP_NFL. And like we like to say, man, y'all come talk to us because we like to talk back.
Go subscribe and follow for free on YouTube or wherever you get podcasts to get the latest episode as soon as it is available. Guys, coming up on Monday, we have our top 10 quarterback rankings, just breaking down all the action that we've seen from these quarterbacks. How will guys land? Will Garrett Nussmeier be at the top still? Will Cade Klubnik be at number 1? Fernando Mendoza, Arch Manning. We'll be able to break all of that down on Monday's show. So come and join the conversation again tomorrow on Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.